Thank you, Madam President. I am going to read an extract of the address that Pope Francis was to deliver here, which will then be published in full. Mr. President, distinguished heads of state and government, ladies and gentlemen, sadly, I am unable to be present with you as I had greatly desired. Now, more than ever, the future of us all depends on the present that we now choose. The destruction of the environment is an offense against God, a sin that is not only personal but also structural, one that greatly endangers all human beings, especially the most vulnerable in our midst, and threatens to unleash a conflict between generations. We must answer now these questions. Are we working for a culture of life or a culture of death? To all of you, I make this heartfelt appeal. Let us choose life. Let us choose the future. Yet, a world completely connected like ours today should not be unconnected by those who govern it, with international negotiations that cannot make significant progress due to positions taken by countries which place their national interests above the global common good. Particularly striking in this regard are the attempts made to shift the blame onto the poor and high birth rates. It is not the fault of the poor, since the almost half of our world that is more needy is responsible for scarcely 10% of greenhouse gas emissions, while the gap between the opulent few and the masses of the poor has never been so abysmal. The poor are the real victims of what is happening. We need to think only of the plight of indigenous peoples, deforestation, the tragedies of hunger, water and food insecurity, and forced migration. Births are not a problem, but a resource. They are not opposed to life, but for life, whereas certain ideological and utilitarian models now being imposed with a velvet glove on families and peoples constitute real forms of colonization. The development of many countries already burdened by grave economic debt should not be penalized. Instead, we should consider the footprint of a few nations responsible for a deeply troubling ecological debt towards many others. It would only be fair to find suitable means of remitting the financial debts that burden different peoples, not least in light of the ecological debt that they are owed. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to speak to you as brothers and sisters in the name of the common home in which we live, and to ask these questions. What is the way out of this? It is the one that you are pursuing in these days, the way of togetherness, multilateralism. It is essential to rebuild trust, which is the foundation of multilateralism. This is true in the case of care for creation, but also that of peace. These are the most urgent issues, and they are closely linked. How much energy is humanity wasting on the numerous wars presently in course? How many resources have been squandered on weaponry that destroys lives or devastates our common home? Once more, I present this proposal. With the money spent on weapons and other military expenditure, let us establish a global fund that can finally put an end to hunger and carry out works for the sustainable development of the poorer countries and for combating climate change. It is up to this generation to heed the cry of peoples, the young and children, and to lay the foundations of a new multilateralism. Why not begin precisely for our common home? Climate change signals the need for a political change. Let us emerge from the narrowness of self-interest and nationalism. These are approaches belonging to the past. Let us join in embracing an alternative vision. This will help to bring about an ecological conversion, for there are no lasting changes without cultural changes. In this regard, I would assure you of the commitment and support of the Catholic Church, which is deeply engaged in the work of education and of encouraging participation by all, as well as in promoting sound lifestyles, since all are responsible and the contribution of each is fundamental. Brothers and sisters, it is essential that there be a breakthrough that is not a partial change, of course, but rather a new way of making progress together. May this COP prove to be a turning point, demonstrating a clear and tangible political will that can lead to a decisive acceleration of ecological transition through means that meet three requirements. They must be efficient, obligatory, and readily monitored, and achieved in 4 sectors: energy efficiency, renewable resources, the elimination of fossil fuels, and education in lifestyles that are less dependent on the latter. Please, let us move forward and not turn back. You are responsible for crafting policies that can provide concrete and cohesive responses, and in this way demonstrate the nobility of your role and the dignity of the service that you carry out. In the end, the purpose of power is to serve. It is useless to cling to an authority that will one day be remembered for its inability to take action when it was urgent and necessary to do so. History will be grateful to you. May the year 2044 mark the breakthrough. I like to think that a good omen can be found in an event that took place in 1224. In that year, Francis of Assisi composed his Canticle of the Creatures. By then, Francis was completely blind, and after a night of physical sufferings, his spirits were elevated by a mystical experience. He then turned to praise the Most High for all those creatures that he could no longer see, but knew that they were his brothers and sisters, since they came forth from the same Father. Shortly thereafter, he praised God for those who forgive. I too, who bear the name Francis, with the heartfelt urgency of a prayer, want to leave you with this message. Let us leave behind our divisions and unite our forces. And with God's help, let us emerge from the dark night of wars and environmental devastation in order to turn our common future into the dawn of a new and radiant day. Thank you.